The end of the Jeju Island raid threw the media and the internet into chaos. The cause of this chaos was, of course, our hero, Sung Jin-woo, who made his first official appearance as an S-rank during the raid. People were curious about him, amazed by his overwhelming power. However, many critics claim that if he had arrived earlier, the number of deaths could have been reduced. Of course, there were those who supported him, but very few spoke out against the critics, because it was true. Many lives could have been saved. After the ceremony, Jin-woo wanted to leave, and on his way, as he turned around, he ran into Hunter Baek-yuno. He then confided in him and said,
I always believed that a hero alone could not end a war, and since this raid, I've come to think that it's not necessarily true, because you did it. That's why you must keep your head held high. You've just written the final chapter of this story that has marked us for a very long time. Thank you very much, Hunter Sung Jin-woo.
After these few words from Hunter Baek-yuno, Jin-woo met Cha Hae-in's gaze, but without understanding why, she briefly looked away, leaving Jin-woo perplexed. After the ceremony, Jin-woo found himself by a table with President Go Gun-hee. He shared with him his idea of wanting to create his own guild. The president replied,
From what you just said, you want to create your own guild. Well, if that's the case, you're already approved. You don't need a guild license. You just need to submit your application to the Hunters Association, and we'll take care of it.
Thanks for everything, President.
Hunter Sung, by any chance, did you deploy a barrier on Jeju Island after the raid?
A barrier? What do you mean?
There was an incident where the people mobilized to exterminate the remaining ants and collect crystals on Jeju Island. All lost consciousness for no valid reason. All of these members were A or B rank hunters, and most of them were from the Knights Guild.
No, I'm not responsible for any of this, and that you will just had to wait until they woke up to ask what really happened.
No one of them remembered anything. They didn't even have the ability to determine whether it was magical in origin or an attack targeting hunters.
Jin-woo thought that maybe he had missed some traps that the ants had placed on Jeju Island. At that same moment, while the conversation continued, one of the president's associates approached him and told him something. The president then apologized to Jin-woo and told him he should take his leave because he had something very important to deal with. Jin-woo thought, no problem, I was going anyway. Once he arrived at the parking lot, Jin-woo was approached by someone who claimed to be Special Agent Adam White from the U.S. Hunter Control Bureau. Agent Adam White said,
I went to your office, but you weren't there. I hope you understand why I had to follow you here.
I remembered that once Gino had mentioned a stranger who might have come to see me while I wasn't there. Why did you want to meet with me?
I have information that might interest you.
Informations?
Yes, because probably no country or organization has this information, except us.
And why do you want to give me such information if it's so crucial?
We want to take advantage of it by revealing this information to a few trusted people. It's most certainly our deputy director who wanted to meet you in person. And for the rest, I'll let the director himself explain it to you.
I will think about it, and I will contact you later.
This information concerns a booster. Did you know that there is an awakened capable of increasing the power of other hunters?
Jin-woo was then astonished. After hearing that, he had no choice but to go verify it for himself. Once he arrived at the hotel, Jin-woo met Mr. Michael Connor, the deputy director of the Hunter Control Bureau. Jin-woo introduced himself, and without wasting time, Connor invited him to sit around a table. Mr. Michael Connor then placed a document on the table and said,
It usually takes 1 or 2 years to obtain these, but it's different for you. One word from you, and you become an American citizen.
I came here because I was told about an awakened who could increase another awakened's abilities and boost them. But is all of this really possible?
To be honest, the person with this ability is already here in the room. Bring in Miss Selner.
Suddenly, Jin-woo saw her, and he was shocked. Mr. Michael Connor continued, the only person in this world who can help awakened surpass their limits. Here is Miss Norma Selner. Jin-woo thought to himself that this woman had an aura different from any awakened he had encountered so far. The director asked Miss Selner to introduce herself and explain her ability. Miss Selner then began.
You may find this hard to believe, right? In that regard, you are no different from the other hunters I've met. However, once you experience it, you will find my power irresistibly appealing. Because, as you already know, All hunters have a limit. No one can surpass it. Unless they undergo a double awakening, it's impossible to increase their level, but my ability allows me to help hunters exceed that limit, and I can help them surpass this limit through 3 phases. Call it a forced double awakening, to be more precise.
Agent Adam White then confirmed in a serious tone, what she says is true. Sometimes, she's so exhausted that in an entire year, she only uses her power for 3 or 4 people. Jinwoo, still surprised, wondered to himself, am I one of the people selected this year too? Miss Selner answered calmly.
It depends on the individual. Improvements can range from 20 to 30% of their abilities.
Jinwoo widened his eyes. Impossible. To increase power by 30% in just one go? He finally understood why Hunter Hwang Dong-soo had defected from Korea to the United States. Michael Connor spoke again, smiling. For you, Jinwoo, this is a gift. We are ready to offer it to you. Jinwoo furrowed his brows. A gift? Is this your payment? Connor shook his head. No payment. If you become a hunter in the United States, you'll be the first chosen this year. But Miss Selner intervened softly. It's just a gift. You don't need to rush to decide. She then turned to Jinwoo. Are you ready to begin? Jinwoo took a moment to think. Then he slowly extended his hand toward Miss Selner. Very well. She placed her hand over his and in a calm voice said,
Look me in the eyes. The first stage will begin.
At the back of the room, Mr. Connor murmured to a colleague, Perfect. He accepted. He'll surely sign with us. But suddenly, Miss Selner, activating her power, plunged into a total void. Complete darkness. She looked around. Left. Right. Nothing. Then, behind her, she saw a face, hovering above a shadow. And when that face suddenly moved closer, she screamed. The security agents drew their weapons immediately, aiming all of them at Jinwoo. Don't move, but Agent Adam intervened, furious. Idiots, lower your weapons. You have no idea who you're facing. The guards hesitated, then obeyed. Michael Connor quickly apologized to Jinwoo, while the other agents ran to check on Miss Selner's condition. Jinwoo, still in shock, thought to himself, what just happened? Connor turned to a guard, his expression serious. If this had happened in front of Thomas Andre or Liu Zhegang, they'd all be dead by now. Then he approached Selner, still trembling. Are you okay? She didn't respond. Her hands shook uncontrollably. Seeing this, Connor sighed. We'll postpone the meeting. She's not feeling well. He gestured to Agent White. Escort Mr. Jinwoo outside. Once they were alone, Connor leaned toward Miss Selner. What happened? She raised her eyes, her voice trembling.
It's a king.
A king? You mean a national rank hunter?
No, I don't really know. When I tried to look into him, he looked into me too. It wasn't Sung Jinwoo. It was the darkness inside him that was staring at me. Unlike other hunters, Sung Jinwoo has no limits. His darkness is far too deep, and he can keep evolving endlessly.
At the Hunter Association of Korea, President Go Geun-hee was lost in thought. Sitting alone in his office, he pondered deeply, his expression serious and tired. Deep down, a worry gnawed at him. Lately, we've lost so many hunters, and I don't even know what the future holds. If only someone could save us again, like Jinwoo did before. Suddenly, the ring of his phone cut through his thoughts, jerking him out of his reverie. He picked up. Hello? A panicked voice came from the other end. Mr. President, a portal just appeared, right in the middle of a highway. Go Geun-hee straightened. What? All right. I'll contact a major guild immediately. But when checking the location, he noticed something. The portal was very close to the area where Jinwoo's guild was located. The president hesitated for a moment, then decided to call him directly. Meanwhile, Jinwoo was still thinking about the events with Miss Selner. What she saw. What exactly was it? A trace of the system? Or something even deeper? His thoughts were interrupted by a massive traffic jam. Why is there so much traffic? And at that exact moment, his phone rang. It was President Go Geun-hee.
This is the president.
What's the matter?
A portal just appeared on a highway, not far from your current location.
A portal? In the middle of the road? So that's why there's so much traffic here.
It's a B-rank portal. I'd like you to handle it.
I can really take care of it without permission?
And where do you think permissions come from?
From the Hunter Association.
And who runs that association?
You.
Exactly. So go ahead.
A few minutes later, Jinwoo arrived at the scene. A large portal shimmered above the highway. As he prepared to enter, an agent, square glasses and a Rock Lee hairstyle, stopped him with a sharp gesture. You cannot pass without official authorization from the Hunter Association, but looking closer, the agent recognized him instantly. Wait, you're Sungjin Woo? Around them, civilians began whispering, eyes wide. It's him. The S-rank hunter. Is he going to close the portal? The agent, a little nervous, continued. Even if you're an S-rank hunter, you can't enter without a team. It's the rule. Jinwoo sighed. He calmly took out his phone and called President Go-gun-hee. I have a small problem. There's an agent here stopping me from entering. Then he handed the phone to the agent. This is for you. The agent, confused, took the phone, and the moment he heard the president's voice, he turned pale instantly. Mr. President? Yes, understood. The problem was solved in a second. Jinwoo entered the portal, but barely had he disappeared inside, the agent, frustrated, muttered, something bad should happen to him. And suddenly, the portal changed color. Red. A red portal had appeared. The agent went pale. What? No, this isn't possible. Is this because of my curse? He stepped back, trembling, bitterly regretting his words. Once inside the portal, Jinwoo was shocked. He said once again,
It's another red portal.
The portal would remain closed until he could fully seal it. He thought of his mother and remembered that when he told her he had become a hunter, she hadn't reacted badly. On the contrary, she had told him that if it was something he loved, he should do it, but he had to be careful. Jinwoo then thought that this portal was far too easy for him, and he would clear it in a single day. At the same moment, his shadows began attacking the monsters inside the portal. Jinwoo started speaking.
A hunter is born to hunt. Monsters are not the only enemies of a hunter. Hunters must be careful not to become the prey. Positions can reverse at any moment, and high-ranking hunters must be even more cautious not to lower their guard. Even if there are hundreds or thousands of hunters, it will never end, because no one will give up, and no one intends to stop. So, on to the next hunt.
At the same time, in another portal, a man seemed terrified of something. A figure in front of him appeared to be searching for something he called the fragments of light. Then, while the man stood there, another portal opened behind him. The man behind him said he had information to give. The Frost Monarch asked if it was regarding the Eastern Territory. He already knew that the Shadow Monarch was there. He then said that it seemed the leaders wanted to free Ligia from her prison, and that he would handle that place himself. He added that there was no problem, he would just have to go there and see for himself. As the two appeared to be discussing, someone approached slowly. It was none other than Jinwoo's father, who asked if the Eastern Territory he mentioned was Korea. The monarch, disappointed with him, said there was really no need to answer, and it wasn't necessary anyway. All he had to do was leave. As he was about to depart, Jinwoo's father immediately drew his dagger and attacked, but the monarch quickly turned and blocked the strike with a block of ice that could not move. There was a huge explosion as Jinwoo's father was thrown backward. At the same moment, in the red portal, the monster exclaimed,
"It's you! You're the bastard who killed my brothers. Not just for attacking this place, with that tiny body of yours, but you even know our language." However, it was over. Their comrades were already waiting.
And when he told them to come out, nothing happened. He was surprised. Jinwoo responded, "Me? Little, huh?" Then Jinwoo said, "Come out." And his men, hidden, began to emerge with the corpses of their enemies. Some had been eaten, others were cut apart. Jinwoo then realized that it seemed no one remained, as all his friends who had been hiding had been killed. He then threw the head of one at him and grabbed it. Upon seeing the head, the enemy cursed Jinwoo, but Jinwoo remained calm and said to his men, "Kill them all." As soon as the order was given, all of Jinwoo's shadows leapt at the monsters. The battle had begun. While Jinwoo stood, two monsters managed to escape the grasp of his shadows and tried to attack him, but Croc suddenly appeared behind him, blocking them just in time. When the boss of the place tried to attack Jinwoo, Igris and Beru appeared immediately. They attacked. Igris grabbed its leg and Beru seized its arm. Then the monster collapsed to the ground. While it lay there, Defense used his paralysis skill to immobilize it before their king. It was crushed against the floor, and after a moment, Jinwoo approached and said, "If you answer all my questions, your death will be far less painful." After the interrogation, nothing. The monster could not tell him anything he didn't already know. Jinwoo thought to himself that the system intervened every time because he had failed to gather any information this time as well. He then took out a key from his inventory and realized that this key, given to him by the system, had appeared when he had reached level 100 on Jeju Island. It was simply a black key, the key to the Carthenian temple. Jinwoo thought that the system's purpose was to send him back to where it all began. Even if everything was planned, the system only had to wait, because he would come to it. At that same moment, in Jinwoo's guild, Gino was fighting Jinwoo's haters on social media. He looked visibly exhausted from it all. No matter how many messages he managed to answer, they kept coming endlessly. He was then surprised to see Jinwoo appear behind him, carrying a bag full of high-rank crystals. He thought that with this, he no longer had to worry about paying their subordinates' salaries. But Jinwoo, curious, asked, "Which subordinates are you talking about?" Gino replied that yes, he needed one more member to complete the formation of the guild. Jinwoo thought that anyone would do. Then Gino pointed out an obvious, very important matter. He asked for the name of the guild. Jinwoo said he didn't have one. Gino was surprised. He made several suggestions, combining both their names, for example. Jinwoo threw a phrase at him, "It's the Solo Guild." Gino was stunned. He couldn't understand why such a lame name had been chosen. At that very moment, as they were talking, someone knocked at the door. When they opened it, both were shocked to see who was standing there. It was the hunter, Chae-in. Jinwoo asked her why she was there. She said she wanted to join the guild. Once inside, Jinwoo asked, "Why? Why not explain yourself calmly?" As she had just said, she wanted to join the guild. Jinwoo then asked why she wanted to join them. He wanted to know if the association had sent her. She replied that it wasn't the case. Then Jinwoo asked why she wanted to join the Solo Guild. When she heard the name Solo, she was truly dumbfounded. She wondered how anyone could choose such a name. But Jinwoo told her that he had agreed with his vice master. Then she said he was not at all okay with it. Jinwoo said that since he had remained calm, he considered it a yes from him. Looking at her more closely, Jinwoo noticed her heartbeat racing fast. She struggled to keep her composure. Jinwoo asked if she wasn't under a contract with the Hunters Guild, but she said she had enough resources to break her contract. Jinwoo said he didn't have enough funds to support someone like her. She said she didn't need money to join their guild. Jinwoo didn't understand. He said to her,
"Why go so far to join our guild when you had nothing to gain if no money was involved?"
She thought to herself, how can I explain this to him without him thinking I'm crazy? Because from the very beginning, Jinwoo had caught her attention with his scent. Unlike other hunters, he smelled pure and he didn't smell bad. That day, even in the evening, she called the association and asked for information to talk about Jinwoo. She was surprised to see that this information was classified, even within the Hunters Association, so she decided to search online, and she saw several negative comments about him. She also learned that he had ruined Lee Min-sung's conference. She was shocked to see so many negative comments about him. As the raid on Jeju Island approached, she decided to stop thinking about it. But fate had other plans because the other day, she ran into him again during the meeting with the Japanese hunters. And on Jeju Island, while she was terrified and lying at death's door, she suddenly woke up and learned that the person who had saved her was none other than Hunter Sung Jinwoo. She wondered how she could tell him that if she were in a life or death situation, she would want to stay by his side. Just thinking about it made her blush, without understanding why. Even as she resisted the feeling internally, Jinwoo, perplexed, truly didn't understand what he was witnessing, and he asked her,
"Why are you ignoring me?"
She told him that she just wanted to live peacefully. She wondered, is there anything wrong with that? Seeing this, Gino approached Jinwoo and said, she must have been under enormous pressure from the hunters to come and say just that. Jinwoo thought to himself that she was only 22 or 23 years old, and at her age, she was already S rank. Surely she carried such a heavy burden on her shoulders. Jinwoo thought that she must pass a test before being able to join the guild. He then asked Gino to go get something to eat to invite them. Chae-in then asked him,
What kind of test is it?
Jinwoo told her that it was about defeating one of his summons that he would choose for her. She asked,
Do you take me for someone that weak? Which summon do you want to call out to fight me?
For you, Hunter Chae-in, the most powerful, of course.
She accepted and told him that she was ready. She stood up toward the exit and said she was ready to leave. Jinwoo told her she didn't need to go out the door. She just had to come closer to him. He had another way. When he pulled her toward him, a shadow began to manifest. Jinwoo then said,
Exchange.
A shadow then began to envelop them both until it completely swallowed them. When Gino returned with the food in place of Jinwoo, he found an orc who, without really knowing why, took the plate and began eating the food Gino had brought. At the same moment, they appeared in the Hunters Association gym. Cha Hae-in was surprised that he had appeared there so suddenly, but Jinwoo thought to himself that she was right, because his ability works like a portal. He just needed to teleport to where one of his shadows was, and he would appear there. The hunter realized that at the same time she had forgotten her weapon. Jinwoo, a little stunned, asked her,
"Are you talking about the pickaxe from the other day that I saw you with?"
She shyly said that it wasn't that, but Jinwoo told her he was just joking. She then pulled out her hunter card and opened the storage where the weapons were kept. She took a sword and said she was ready. Then Jinwoo called the best swordsman in his army, Igris. He asked him to come out. Jinwoo then said,
"The test will end if you defeat my summon, or if you give up."
Jinwoo then told them that he had to start. Hunter Cha Hae-in was ready for the battle. Jinwoo noticed that Cha Hae-in was using a sword. He told her to turn around for a moment. Then he took out from his inventory and handed Igris the sword of the Demon King Baran. Once he was finally ready, Cha Hae-in told him he could begin, and Jinwoo said,
"The battle begins."
He started to advance while the sword in Igris' hands radiated an aura and discharged electricity. As soon as he attacked, part of the ground shattered in a flash. Hunter Cha Hae-in skillfully dodged the attack. Jinwoo thought to himself, as I expected, she's incredibly fast. Cha Hae-in attacked Igris with all her strength, leaving him no room to breathe. At the same time, the president sensed something. He asked security to send him the footage from the surveillance cameras in the gym. As soon as he saw the recordings, the president was slightly shocked. He then instructed the staff to disable the gym cameras, saying that he would report it as part of an inspection of the premises. After saying this, an explosion echoed. President Go Gun-hee could only say, "The youth are remarkable." At the same moment, Igris had just been defeated. Cha Hae-in asked him, "Is this the most powerful summon Jinwoo has?" He told her it can be injured, but she said she already knew that, and that she wanted to face it again. Jinwoo then said, "Very well." And the next moment, he called Beru. Cha Hae-in felt the pressure rising as Beru's dark shadow manifested behind his master. When Beru appeared, Jinwoo asked her again, "Hunter Cha, are you sure you want to do this?"
Thank you for watching until the very end. If this story captivated you, like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Many fascinating episodes are still coming, and trust me, you won't want to miss a single one. This is Tiger. See you soon for the next chapter.